Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Moment with Gabby. I am your host Gabrielle Mosa. Today we're going to be talking about real estate development and the projects in real estate and real estate in Kenya. Is it a good investment option and more of that? Stay tuned for more. In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to get notified for new episodes. Karibu sana Carlos. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Carlos Okelo. I'm a project management professional, and I've been working in the real estate and construction space. This is now my 7th year. I'm the founder and CEO of Agulo Consulting Group, which is currently a real estate development firm based here in Westlands, Nairobi.
Okay. Tell us, how did you get into real estate?
Well, we got into real estate development after we generally started off like 4 years ago as contractors. Basically, we started as a design and build company targeting the individual homeowners in the sense that you've got your land and you want to build your own personal residence. So we come in, remember we had a team of professionals across the built environment sector. We comprise of professional architects, engineers, quantity surveyors and all that. So when we come in, we generally a one-stop shop. So where we approach the landowners, you want to build, you come into us, then we design the project from scratch basically, and they give you the quantities, ensure that the project has been approved by the relevant authorities, talk about Nairobi County, or rather county governments and NEMA, National Environmental Management Authority, National Construction Authority, and of course WARMA where necessary. Then we get into the site and do the construction. So that one makes the work of a landowner very easy in the sense that you don't have to go through the hustle and bustle of dealing with foodies and all that, who are sometimes unfortunately are unscrupulous individuals, so you end up using a lot of money instead. So as is a budget, is a build to budget, in the sense that if it is 3 million shillings for example, then that is what it takes to build that particular house. So we do that and just hand over the key to the landlord. So it was from that humble beginning, I can say, that we grew the firm to now a company that we are today of real estate developers. So in real estate development, what we do land acquisition and build apartments for sale. Specifically, we are currently in the apartments, the gated apartments, high-end gated apartments for sale. That's what we are currently doing. Yes.
And what inspired you to start your own company and not work under someone else?
Well, I've always had a passion for entrepreneurship, and when I was in employment in the corporate, I got to realize there's some limitation, and entrepreneurship is all about creativity, you have to create something. And that's what I realized, that in an employment environment, I could not be able to explore the creativity that I had. There were numerous opportunities which I could see, but there was a limitation on how I could take advantage of such opportunities. So that's why I decided to go my way and create Agulo Consulting.
Because that's interesting. You said you mostly deal in apartments, in the buying, and not in the buying, but in the building of apartments and everything.
Yes.
Apartments now are what's in right now. Many apartments are coming up. Is that why you chose to now deal with apartments only? Well,
we are not just, I cannot say it's just apartments. What we are doing, something which is more important for me to mention, is that in real estate development, particularly in Kenya, it is when it is upcoming. I like using the term, it's an emerging market, is when it's upcoming. That is, if you compare us with our counterparts in China, in the US, those are already developed markets. So currently, for example, we are developing a 22-story tower on Gong Road, right opposite Race Course. If you look at the statistics around, you realize that is going to be the third or fourth tallest building in Kenya, and it's probably going to be one of the tallest residential towers in Africa, So that one tells you, unlike in India or in the US, for example, where there are thousands and thousands of maybe 50-story tower, buildings. So it tells you that our market is where it is emerging. So we want to create a great impact in that space, in the sense that bring the world class standards, bring those standards in Dubai, bring those standards in Manhattan, in New York, bring those standards that you see in Mumbai or Beijing in India. That's exactly what we want to create in Nairobi. We want to see, I normally say we are not just building apartments, but we create lifestyles, When there are Kenyans, a lot of Kenyans, we have more than 5 million Kenyans who live in the diaspora, in the so-called developed world. So we want to create a situation where when you are in New York, you can come to Kenya, or you can find yourself in Nairobi, and you realize that the same apartment you see in Manhattan, the same apartment in London is actually the same thing that you find in Nairobi. That's the kind of standards that we are creating in the country. So we believe that almost we don't have competitors, because what we are doing is quite unique. For example, the project that we're doing there is called Zoya. Zoya is a unique project in the sense that we are combining residential plus office space. It's a 2-bedroom which is fitted with an office space. So because the rationale behind that was because the world of work is changing. COVID brought something called working from home. So we want to create that space, because we realize work is not a place but a space. People who are in the media like you can stay in that apartment, and that is the place, same place where you set up your studio. If you are a lawyer, you can practice your law there, and you stay in the same place. If you're a doctor, you can practice you have your medical practice in the same vicinity which you live in. So those are the kind of innovations that we are trying to put up in the real estate market, which unfortunately is not being implemented with the current developers. So that's why we are saying confidently that we actually don't have competitors, because the standards we are bringing are quite unique currently in the market. Yes.
What would you say the market about creating office spaces or creating residential spaces?
Well, there's still a huge demand for residential space. We actually have a deficit of more than 2 million, or almost 3 million annually of housing. So basically, it means that what can be supplied in the market is actually less than 50,000 units. That's combined. That's what the Kenyan developers are able to do. So it tells you that there's a huge demand for housing in the country. So that aside, if you look at also the commercial sector, where there are a lot of we've got a lot of brands, we've got a lot of multinationals who also want to come. These people require offices, to work with. Last time I saw Visa, I saw Microsoft is here. I saw very big, serious international firms, coming here to looking for places to work, So that was the rationale to say, okay, then why can't we go with both? We provide commercial and residential combined in the same vicinity, because, like I've said, the world of work is changing, and it has changed almost forever. We're going to see a change where those big offices, those grandiose offices accommodating more than 100 people, that world is gone, and probably it's not going to come back, because everyone can work using the smart technology. You can work wherever you are, so whether it's a multinational company, whether it is a startup, anyone can then, so long as you've got that ample working or environment space that you need, So that's the kind of facility or the kind of a future that we are creating. We realize that let us have a combination of both. You have residential and commercial combined in the same space, because these things are needed all at a go.
Okay. And which class of people do you specifically target? The engine is more profitable, the middle class or the upper class?
We actually, I can say our project cuts across to accommodate everyone. I like using the term there is something for everyone. This starts from the pricing and again the payment plans that we are giving. We live in a country where unfortunately there's no mortgage finance, and the mortgage that is there currently is very I can say it's very expensive, currently, if you look at the statistics from Kenya Bankers Association, you realize there are less than 30,000 mortgages in Kenya, the whole country. So for a population of 50 million, and you only have 30,000 people who have taken mortgages, it just tells you there's a serious problem there. So after analyzing that, we can realize the reason behind it is because the cost of mortgage is extremely expensive as compared to other countries. So we came with a product which we call rent to own. So in rent to own, how it works is that as a home buyer, you come up with a significant deposit, then the rest of the amount is spread for a period of time. Like in our case, the Zoya apartments, the selling price is 11.5 million Kenya shillings, but you do a deposit of 3 million or a down payment of 3 million shillings, then 100,000 per month, monthly installment for a period of 7 years. No interest involved. So what does that one tells you? It means that someone who is in employment, for example, you are an average accountant, an average doctor, an average civil servant, you can actually use your rent to actually own a house after a 7-year period, So we came to realize, since we launched that and broke that news into the market, it has sparked some excitement, because not everyone is capable of raising 11.5 million shillings at a go. Very few are actually able to do that, given the kind of economy that we are in, So that's why I'm saying that our projects is able to accommodate everyone, from the people, first-time home buyers, maybe you're a second or a third-time homeowner who is just now getting into investment, into gathering a property portfolio. You can be accommodated given our pricing and our payment plans.
Okay. What would you say differentiates your real estate company from other real estate companies?
One is we operate on a culture of trust. That's very, very important in real estate, because as a developer, we are not just into real estate development. We are real estate professionals first and foremost. So we are in this space to stay long term, So that is why it is important or that's what differentiates us from other developers who are maybe I can say are in the business only just to make money and move forward, And again, our projects, we choose the best locations for our projects. Real estate is all about location. So we are looking at areas that are upcoming. It's an area where, for example, in the Zoya that we are talking about, you will invest your 11.5 million shillings there, but there's an increase in capital gain after a period of time. Reason being, you are investing in an upcoming region. So your house or your development is part and parcel of that upcoming. So when there's a change, when there's a transformation, so the value of your property also increases. So that is what makes the difference between us and other players in this market.
I love that. Very interesting and very insightful. We're going to take a short break, and in the upcoming segment, we're going to talk about the real estate market in Kenya. Is it a good investment, and how you can invest, and the real estate company as compared to other parts of Africa. Stay tuned for more. Stay tuned. Tell us about the real estate market in Kenya. How can you compare it to other African countries?
Well, I can say that the real estate market of Kenya is quite vibrant. It is a very fast-growing sector, given that our economy is growing. Our political environment, as compared to our neighbors, is equally very stable, and that one encourages a lot of foreign direct investment, and it encourages a huge influx of individuals who are migrating into Kenya to stay. Recently we got a client who migrated from Britain together with his family to come and settle in Kenya. So that one tells you that because of our operating environment, the real estate market is gonna see a lot of stability in terms of value. So because of that, if I compare with our counterparts in other markets, if I compare maybe, for example, Nigeria, yes, it is one of the biggest economies in Africa, but the political stability in Nigeria as compared to the Kenya's political stability, makes Kenya to tick, to be number one,
Yeah.
Then number two, we are seeing that Kenya is generally attractive to international investors. We are seeing a lot of serious firms coming into Kenya. We see Dangote Group is coming to invest here.
Yeah.
We are seeing Foloruncho, Lakija, the oil magnate of Nigeria, is equally coming here. So that attraction into the real estate, into the Kenya as a nation, makes the developers who are in this space to get into more and more developments. So what we require is quite a innovation to build not just apartments. It's not just about creating space. It's not just about brick and mortar only, but about creating value to the buyers. That's important, in creating world-class developments that actually will make people to know that the coins they're spending in their projects are actually worth what they're paying for.
You've said there are very many investors coming to invest in real estate
That's
in
right.
Kenya.
Yes.
What makes Kenya more marketable or more profitable, or why do people, choose to come to invest in here more?
Number one is political stability. I heard a proverb. Someone is saying that money is coward. Money loves where there's peace. Money hates chaos. Where there's chaos, money runs away. Where there's peace, money flies in. And I feel that because of the peace that we have here, that is what has made a lot of people to come into the country.
Okay,
Yes.
that's interesting. Tell us about the emerging real estate in Africa, using Kenya specifically as a case study.
When we talk of an emerging market or an emerging economy, we are talking about an upcoming area. We are talking about something that is just sprouting out, but has great potential of growth. And when it comes to real estate, for example, we are getting into areas that are probably are looking like slums, what we call informal settlements. So we as developers, let me say as innovative developers, we get into these kind of markets and or target these kind of areas and be able to make a transformation, change the face value of such kind of an area and make it what you now call a high-end development. That is what we are doing with our Ngongro project, because the location is very strategic, but the current developments, the current settlements in that area are very informal, So that is what we are trying to change. We are getting into an area and say, this place looks like this, but why can't we transform it? Why can't you bring the same projects in Manhattan and Beijing and put them here and create those world standards here, because the location is just fantastic, So as we bring that, the government also supports us by creating adequate infrastructure. We see the roads are being constructed. We see the introduction of sewer lines in areas where there were no sewer lines. There's power, and those kind of stuff, So because of that, because of such kind of amenities, it makes an emerging market to get off that emergency scale into now what you can call a developed market, Exactly.
Let's talk about someone who wants to invest in the real estate market.
Yes.
How would you recommend them starting off? Would you recommend them starting off by buying a piece of land, buying apartments, building a block of apartments, and also the best locations for this?
I will normally say that land has no value unless you develop it. It doesn't matter how you may call it. You buy land, I see a lot of people buying land, or what they call land banking, or land of speculation. You buy, that it will appreciate for quite some time. But land has no value without developing it. Personally, my greatest piece of advice is that when you want to invest in real estate, gather a portfolio, build that apartment, buy that apartment, buy that bungalow. It doesn't matter how you start from or what's the value. Buy for 3 billion shillings. Because the reason why personally I do love real estate, and I will recommend it 100% over and over again, real estate value rarely goes down regardless of what happens in the market. I normally give an example that people go shout outside there If you're a politician, you go for a rally, you shout, you do everything. But at night, where do you resort to? Your house.
Yeah.
That is real estate, for you. So it tells you that the space we are playing into will always have the market. There is always a value for whatever you're doing. So I will tell someone that you don't have to be a developer like me. No, it's not. When you are a real estate investor, it's not about building or buying land. You can buy to let. There's buy to let, there's buy to, nowadays there's even the Airbnbs, which is becoming very, very, very popular. Even the number of guests that we are receiving in the country almost on a daily basis. And these people want, maybe someone is coming and wants the same attention that he is getting in his home, and say, oh, I don't want to be in an hotel, I don't want to go to a guest room, let me get an Airbnb apartment which I'm going to feel at home. So I highly recommend for people to buy houses almost even instead of land, unless you have a way on which you're going to develop that land. But if you're not going to, if you don't know how you're going to develop it, just go into housing.
Where are the best locations to start this?
Currently, I will always recommend 100% is that an emerging area, an upcoming area, that is always the best location. Because this is where there's a lot of capital gain. Go to Ngong Road, go to Ngong as a place, go to places like Kikuyu, go to a place like Syokimau, anywhere around Mombasa Road. On the outskirts of Nairobi, we're also seeing significant value, places like Kitengela, Rongai, in Thika town, Juja, Kiambu is equally a very vibrant place to invest in. So I highly recommend those areas, unlike what I call the traditional names of Upper Hill and all Westlands and all those kind of people, because these are areas that when you put your money in, you are sure that the next 5-10 years the property that you're buying now is going to have much value in terms of increment as compared to these other already developed markets. Because if you're buying a property in Upper Hill, for example, at 20 million shillings for a 1-bedroom, it is very rare, chances are very rare that you're going to resell that same property at maybe 21 or 22 million. But unlike in a place like maybe Racecourse or Ngong Road, where you can buy an apartment at 10 million shillings, in the next 5 years, there's high possibility of selling the same apartment at 20 million shillings because of the developments that are upcoming in the same location.
True. Still on the topic of investment, do you advocate for mortgages, or do you advocate for people buying upfront with other money?
Mortgaging is the best, or used to be the cheapest way to own a house, especially for someone who's just starting life. Unfortunately, in Kenya, mortgage is extremely expensive. I normally say it is dangerously expensive, for lack of a better word. I've seen someone buying a property worth 10 million shillings on a mortgage for a period of 25 years, and he ended up paying more than 35 million shillings for the same property. So it tells you that one doesn't make sense. Unlike in the UK, where the interest rates for mortgage is between 3 to 4%, that's sustainable. Anyone can afford that. Here mortgage is starting from 12.5%. It's extremely high. That when before you add even the cost of financing, legal strength, and all that. So that is why we came up with this other innovative product which we call rent to own. Because rent to own is Sharia compliant. There is no interest involved. It is 11.5 million shillings. It has been spread within a longer period of time. Yes. So if it is 100,000, it is that 100,000 which you'll be paying on a monthly basis for that period of time. That's 7 years. Then you are able to own a house, at the same amount without going through a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yes.
Why should someone invest in real estate in Kenya?
The reason is simple. Capital gain, capital gain, capital gain. They will never go wrong with real estate in Kenya because our country is a developing economy, and if you buy a property today, the same property is going to give you value tomorrow. You are going to buy a house or a land today. In the next 5 years, you're able to liquidate that house and be able to settle some of your other financial obligations, you will be able to acquire another property.
Okay.
So I will recommend it 100% that real estate is the place to be for anybody.
As we wind up, what would you advise Kenyans who want to invest in real estate in Kenya from the diaspora? Are there things to watch out on? Are there things to look out for?
Well, what I've seen is that, especially the Kenyans in the diaspora, there is no due diligence. It is very, very important that before you invest in real estate, put your emotions aside and do proper due diligence, because you don't buy a property the way you buy a handbag in Owino market or Gikomba market. So it's important that when you are buying a property, do a thorough search, and the searches we are talking about: what is the history, what is the ownership, who is the developer, is he a developer by profession, is he in that business, or is just some runaway fellow who's there to pick money and kick off,
Yeah.
So you cannot know that before you involve professionals who do those kind of things for you. Another thing is shortcut. I normally say there's no property which is just cheap. There's no cheap house, you'll never find it. And if it is cheap, then it is a con. So it is either affordable or it is expensive, you can't afford it. So little things. And the only way to identify such kind of traps to fall in them is to involve professionals, involve lawyers, involve architects, involve engineers, involve project managers like myself, who are the people who are dealing with this kind of things each and every day of their lives. So once you carry out your due diligence correctly, then I don't see why you will not be able to get the right guidance while investing into the real estate market.
Okay.
Yes.
Our last question. We have seen many Chinese properties coming up, many Chinese, flooding the real estate market.
Yes.
What would you say about that? Are they releasing, or are they building good apartments? Are people just talking about them negatively for nothing, or?
I normally say that when it comes to Chinese development, I can say exposure is very, very important for Kenyans. It is very sad what we see, especially areas like Kilimani. You will be shocked to realize the apartments that are being built by the Chinese in Kilimani, what you call high-end, those apartments are actually being built in rural places or rural provinces back in China. You can't see such kind of standards in Beijing. You can't see such kind of standards in Hong Kong. You get it. So it tells you what those people are importing here. They're just mediocrities. You're getting. So that's why it's also important to explore, and see what am I paying for. Yeah, the value for my money. Am I getting this property? I'm investing more than $200,000. Is it really worth it? So because we don't probably carry out such kind of checks and diligences, then that is why we fall into traps of buying apartments that are actually substandards in terms of their construction. So I'm not here. I won't criticize it because, of course, not all of them are bad, but a huge chunk of such projects are not as per the international standards that are actually required.
Okay. Thank you very much for the interview. For sure, in real estate, you need to do your due diligence. Tell the people where they can find your company and the specific name of your company. Yes,
we are called Agulo Consulting Group. You can check out our website, www.agulo-group.com. We're going to find our information, what the projects that we are currently doing, and of course their prices, locations, and all that kind of stuff. We are also present in social media spaces. We are on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn myself, and you can connect with me and we'll be able to give you guidance on how this is being done. We are on other social platforms like Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, and also got a YouTube platform as well where you can connect with us and get to know information on the projects that we have. Also welcome to our offices. We are based here in Westlands, Nairobi at Western Heights on the 10th floor, right opposite Surrey Center on Karuna Road. Find us and we'll be able to walk you through this the journey of investing in this lucrative industry.
Thank you very much for that. I've been your host, Gabrielle Mossa. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at NewsunplugKE. Thank you very much for watching. See you until next time.